Everybody, we are joined by Reid, the owner and founder of 26 Shirts. My friend Patrick Walsh, who's been on the program, his absolute favorite store. And without that, he would have no wardrobe. And he wanted me to let you know that. He's probably invested in at least 30 of your shirts. Also famous for, I guess, being the godfather of Bills Mafia, coining the term. And his philanthropic efforts around the community are something that I've admired for a long time. And, Don is just kind of finding out about. Pretty amazing.
It is. Yeah.
Del, thanks so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for inviting me on.
Sure. First things first, can you tell us about your new store opening? We'll give you a shameless plug as we start.
All right. So we just moved out of the Tri-Main building in Buffalo on the corner of Main and Jewett. We're now over on 2205 Kenmore Avenue, right next door to the Charter School for Applied Technologies, for those who know where that is, by the old Tonawanda GM plant. We have a lot more space. It's great for us. We have a little bit more warehouse space. We're not on top of each other. So now we're able, if we actually hire somebody new, we have somewhere to put them. And we have, funny thing is with t-shirts, they take up space. So we have a little bit more space now to account for that.
Do you remember the old Trench Manufacturing down on Main Street in Buffalo?
Wow.
That was in the same building that we were just in the Tri-Main.
Oh, how
building.
funny. That was a highlight for me when I was a kid. I would go there and get there was like a $1 bin, and they had like good quality t-shirts. So I'd get like Seattle Seahawks and Seattle Supersonics and just these random I had a Utah Jazz shirt, but I love the shirts, and I would just go in the dollar bin and basically just grab any logo. Maybe Don, you could tell them the story. So little known fact here, Del. Don and I were two of the first people in the Bills merchandise department. Don was the head of the merchandise department in the late 90s, and I got my start there as an intern and worked there for a few years. Maybe you could share the story with everybody about cool. the 4 years of the Bills Super Bowl champion T-shirts and where they ended up.
Yeah, well, we talked to Mark Conan about that. He said there was actually maybe going to be a movie about
That's right.
them ended up in Africa, and some kid just thought the Bills were the best team ever, and until they came here, found out that didn't actually win them, but. Yeah, I got my start in the merchandising department. I was working in the ticket office as an intern, then part-time. And the person that was handling merchandise for the stadium, that's all there was, just game day stadium merchandise, that's it, was taking a job with New Era, Dave Eichinger. So when he left, they asked Christy Wilson, who was Mr. Wilson's daughter, who was running a store in New York City, if she would want to run the merchandise department. But the caveat to it was she was going to live in Florida. So she needed boots on the ground and people to do with the inventory. So they asked Paul McDonald and I, Paul came on a show a little bit before, if she could do all the ordering, come in for, in the spring, come in for the home games, but all the merchandise would come to us. We would track it, distribute it. And but then this thing called the internet came along in the 90s, and we had this idea to do a mail order. And, so we needed help, and then Josh came on as an intern.
It's amazing. It's amazing, Del, how mom and pop it was. And we were working out of the front office, like a coat closet in the field house. And you had been horrified by what the Bills merchandise department looked like in the late 90s. For an NFL team, they were throwing away millions of dollars in revenue. And frankly, I got a full-time job because of Doug Flutie and shipping out Flutie Flakes, 2 boxes at a time out of the field house. Maybe you could kind of walk us through like the evolution of 26 Shirts, like how you basically came up with the idea and how you grew it, because we both know what a challenge, merchandise in general is, especially like sports memorabilia merchandise.
Yeah. So that's actually a really cool story. Thanks for sharing that. It's wild when you look at the just NFL merchandising in general now and how it's this massive, well-oiled machine. It's just
it was crazy. Not that
humble beginnings is an understatement.
It wasn't that long ago. You said late 90s. I mean, I'm 47, so it doesn't feel like it was that long ago. I mean, maybe some of the younger listeners like that was the Stone Age, but like that wasn't that long ago. So that's crazy. Just the growth that the NFL has seen just in general. Then you get into the merchandising, but. Anyway, about me and 26 Shirts. So when Bills Mafia started in 2011, we had this social media audience that was just growing and growing and really wanted to do something productive with it. I always credit, Uncle Ben, like, well, Jesus said, to whom much is given, much is required. Uncle Ben told Peter Parker, with great power comes great responsibility. Yeah. And so as we had this social media audience, I felt like we needed to do something productive with it. So, the early days we were doing what we called tweet ups, because back then Twitter wasn't as ubiquitous as it is now. We would just these tailgate tweet ups. And, once or twice a year, a bunch of Bills fans from Twitter would get together and, we'd get donations from local businesses and, players would give us like signed gloves and cleats and stuff like that. We'd do a basket raffle before the game and we'd raise money for Courage of Carly. Back then it was Carly's Club at Roswell Park. And we just always tried to use the attention we were getting to help others because those of us that had started Bills Mafia, we all had jobs. We were all gainfully employed. We weren't looking to create anything that was we weren't trying to get money out of it. We really just enjoyed the attention that we were getting from other Bills fans and from players and stuff. And we just wanted to take that and, like I said, be productive with it. So with this growing audience, people would often be reaching out and saying, hey, can you share this on your Twitter feed or can you repost this? And, I'd always ask them like, well, what's this about before we get, too far into anything. I'm not here to help you sell your car or whatever, it's based on a real request. But one guy reached out to me in October of 2013 and said, hey, would you share this raffle I'm doing online? And what it was an autographed Mario Williams jersey, which back then was kind of a cool thing to have. Now you could probably pick those up at Salvation Army. But it was an autographed Mario Williams jersey that he won from Summer Sanders, the gold medal Olympian Bills fan. And so that's a really unique story. I'm not really a memorabilia guy, but I can appreciate the story behind things. And so that if you won something from a gold medalist who loves the same football team as you, and it's at that point the highest paid professional athlete in Buffalo sports history, why are you looking to just unload this right away? Because I look at your Twitter profile, it looks like you're a Bills fan. So what's the story? So he goes on to tell me how he was originally from Olean. He now lived in North Carolina. And his daughter, who was 2 years old at the time, had a condition called retinoblastoma, which is basically eye cancer. And he said that she was going to Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York City on a regular interval to get treatment. One eye had already been removed. The other one was getting chemotherapy applied directly to it, and they were trying to save it. And thank God they did. But I'm reading this guy's story, and it's that I actually worked at Roswell at the time, and I'm about to go into work, and I'm crying reading this guy's story. I'm like, yeah, dude, no problem. I'll retweet your tweet. And
sure.
Just had this idea, and it just stuck with me. Like we could be doing more. I mean, like when I worked at Roswell, obviously I had to wear like a work type outfit, whether it was with a tie or a polo shirt or whatever and pants. But whenever I would come home, first thing I would do is go upstairs and change into my t-shirt and put on a pair of jeans or shorts. And then obviously on the weekend, that's what I was wearing. So I've always been, a big t-shirt nerd. And anyway, so I had this idea, and Bills fans, we're insatiable when it comes to merchandise to rep our team. And so I had this idea. I was thinking, I might be able to sell t-shirts and, help families like Scott's. Amber was his daughter, is his daughter. And so I'm sitting here, I'm thinking through it, and it could be something where maybe I sell it, every week. We do it for a year, And my buddy, I used to go to like a men's accountability group Bible study on Monday nights. And my buddy Jake looks at me as I'm kind of working through this idea with them. And he's like, you can't do that. That's, once a week, you have a full-time job, you have 2 kids, a wife. There's no way you can, coordinate doing a shirt every week for a different family. I said, all right, but I think I could do every 2 weeks and could do it for a year and, see what kind of help I can give people. And Jake looks at me and goes, dude, that's like 26 shirts. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I think I can pull it off. And so that's where the weird name comes from. So the next morning I woke up and as much as, I can describe it, it was like seeing 26 shirts everywhere I looked. Like I woke up that morning, I felt like the first thing I saw was like right in front of my face was like 26 shirts, and everywhere I looked, it's all I could see or think about. And so, being the patient and careful person that I am, I wrote a blog post that day and said, I'm going to start doing this. Like, we're selling shirts. I'm going to help this little girl, Amber, and y'all are going to help me. You gotta buy shirts to support the cause. Also, I don't have artistic talent, so I need some artists to help me out here. And if you don't have any family members, I want to help, 25 others besides, or anybody in need, any families that need help. I need 25 other families besides the Lunds, and let's do this. And, I always call that my Jerry Maguire moment, because just like Jerry Maguire put out that mission statement and got laid off or got fired. I didn't get fired or anything like that, but I was immediately accountable for this thing that I just put out on the internet. So I had people reaching out to me. I had no infrastructure in place. I had no idea what I was doing. Thankfully, it all kind of came together so perfectly. A local t-shirt company reached out to me and said, who's printing these shirts? And I said, I have no idea. I haven't got that far. And they said, can we print them? And I was like, yeah, it'd be awesome. And it would be even better that I didn't have to use like an online fulfillment like Teespring. I was able to actually use a local Buffalo company to pull it off. I had artists reaching out. I started having families reaching out. The news reached out. And so next thing I know, it's that Saturday, and I'm in front of the Bills Stadium talking to, back then was Time Warner News, now it's Spectrum. Like, oh yeah, we got a shirt going live Monday, and it's gonna support this little girl Amber, whose family's from Olean, and it's gonna be great. And I can't show you the shirt yet because it's a surprise. I didn't even have the artwork yet or anything set up, but I was like, it's one of those things when you things are happening, and everything's like just happening, falling in line perfectly. So that night, actually, I got the artwork from the artist who actually was a friend of the Lund family, and we got it up live, and it was, we called it Shirt One. We ended up renaming it to Volume One Shirt One because 26 shirts had become so popular. We decided we could keep doing it after that first year I envisioned. Sold 98 shirts, sent a check down to the family, and that's kind of the origin story.
That's an amazing story. Do you feel like your early success, your early publicity, do you feel like it was all because of like the charitable mission? Like, how much of the company has been kind of driven by that? I mean, you personally seem like somebody who, genuinely believes in what you're doing. You see some companies that'll, donate $1 or whatever, and it feels like kind of a marketing ploy or whatever. But, I've followed your career and your company for a long time. And it seems like the central mission of what you guys do, like how important is the charitable aspect? And is that kind of why you wake up every day?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I would say that's why we exist. And I often tell people we're not a t-shirt company. We're a giving company. We're a fundraising company. We exist to help these families that we support. And, every business consultant that I've brought in over the years, except for the most recent one, because I told them, don't say this in our first meeting, they've all told us we give too much. And I'm like, yeah, that's great, Einstein. We're obviously selling a lot of shirts. I wouldn't be bringing you in here if I if I was able to make it work so easily. So, like, these are the rules. Help me succeed within these rules, because we're not changing our mission. We're not changing, our values. And so, I think that a lot of the success, especially early on, had to do with the charitable elements. And we have a survey when people, after they finish purchasing a shirt, like, be honest, why did you buy this shirt? And usually it's about 60 to 70% of the people say because of the design, not because of the cause. So but I think but now and then we'll have a shirt that is very obvious that people are buying it for, that specific family that we're helping, and be like 90% or because of the cause. But overall, kind of regresses back a little bit. But I think that because it's just because of who we are, people know that when you buy something from 26 shirts, it's going to be giving back. And so I think that's a great tiebreaker for them at times when they're trying to figure out what which shirt do they want to buy, or what do they want to spend their money on. We always joke about it, but it's like, it's for a good cause, like it's how people justify their purchases. It's for a good cause.
Sure. But of course, that's how my wife does.
But all that to say, yeah. But with that charitable angle and everything, we don't lean on that in terms of just assuming that's enough for the customer. Like I've told you earlier, I'm a t-shirt nerd. I am not going to sell people a shirt that isn't the quality that I would wear. A shirt can have the best print on it. If it's not on a shirt that I enjoy wearing, if it's not on a fabric that I like, I won't wear it. I don't care what's on the front of it. And so, my goal is to make sure that every single garment that leaves this place is the best quality garment that we can supply the customer. That's why our shirts are, a little expensive, more expensive than others, because I won't chintz on the value that people get for what they're spending money on. And plus, like, even though these are fundraiser t-shirts, I don't want them to feel like fundraiser t-shirts. Like, I want them to be a shirt that can withstand dozens and dozens of washes. And, because for a lot of families, like, that means a lot. Like, it's like, it might just say something about, Josh Allen, or it might reference the Bills or something like that. But it's the meaning behind the shirt that's so important. Yeah. And so, I'm real anal about that, to making sure that every customer leaves with a positive experience, because if one person has a negative experience with us and they swear off 26 shirts, well, then in effect, that's a future opportunity that we're robbing a beneficiary of, somebody down the line, because like it could be the most worthy cause, but if somebody's looking at it like, Dad, they really screwed me over, I didn't like their shirt, or they didn't follow through on their promise, or whatever, like, then that person loses the opportunity for the donation that comes from that shirt. And that means a lot to me.
There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure on you. I'm assuming there's a lot of pressure on you, because obviously you're saying yes to a different cause every shirt, correct?
Yeah. It's every shirt has a different cause or a different, family. We've really tried in the past year, especially, we've really tried to, pull back from all the different nonprofits that we were supporting. We really want to help families, because we had a lot of families that were on our waiting list that were behind a nonprofit or a charity. And a lot of these charities have like professional fundraisers working for them, and which is great for them. They're great, worthy causes, but our mission is to help families. And so in the past year, we've really tried to refocus on that's why we exist.
Yeah, I love the fact that you still have the name 26 shirts, because as Josh and I were talking about the humble beginnings of merchandise with the Bills, it's just a reminder of your humble beginnings and how far you've come to, remember the goal of just being, so one shirt every 2 weeks, the number just jumps out at you. When you said the Bills reached out to you, do you recall who it was, what department or individual or that you worked with or talked to you?
When the Bills reached out to me,
I think you said a lot of people started becoming aware of you, seeing you online, players, but then I thought you might have said the Bills did too.
No, the Bills didn't reach out to me in that respect.
Okay.
Players actually had reached out to me, which was really surreal when you got, like, at the time, 2000, this would have been 2013, 14, Stephon Gilmore saying, "Hey, can you make a shirt about me and Leotis?" Like, that was really cool, right?
That's great. Okay. Yeah.
Like, hey, do me, so, but yeah, that was cool. And now, to your point though about the Bills, I have worked with them, and they're a lot of different areas. We helped them a couple years ago with a shirt they did when they did a collab with Marshawn Lynch's Beast Mode brand. We helped put that together a little bit. That was really cool. We've had the opportunity to work with the Sabres a lot, just because, as I'm sure you're aware, NFL merchandising is a lot different than NHL merchandising. NHL teams have a lot more freedom that they can do what they want. And so it's great. We have a shirt going on right now. It's for their military appreciation night that they had last week, and it's like a crossover between the USS, the Sullivans, and the Sabres logo. It's insane. And the shirts have like our logo and the Sabres logo right on the back neck tag. It's surreal as a lifelong sports fan, Buffalo sports fan, to be actually working with these teams in different ways.
Is it hard to say no to a family? Like, have you found that difficult?
Yeah, believe it or not, I haven't had to say it that often. There's only been, I think, once or twice where I've been really like, this isn't a really good fit, but let me recommend you to, here's some local nonprofits I'm aware of that might be able to help with your situation. I do my absolute best due diligence to make sure that, any family that we support, it's actually like a legitimate cause, it's a legitimate need. It's pretty easy to find out, especially in an area like Western New York, where everybody's a couple degrees away from each other, to do a little bit of background fact checking. But but it's, those few times, it can be a little awkward,
Sure.
But you do your best to serve them with at least giving them information. Like, we're not unfortunately a fit for this, but here's somebody who can, help. Honestly, in the past year, it's been tricky because, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, with your reach online, I think one of the things that makes Buffalo and Bills fans special is just how many out of town fans there are. What percentage, maybe, would you guess of your business comes from out of town versus local?
That's a great question. I've never really ran those numbers, but if I had to guesstimate, I'd say 30%, 35%. It's a significant number.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I'm 47 years old. I graduated from high school in '93. Half the people I went to high school with live in Charlotte, Texas, California.
Me too. What high school
Virginia.
did you go to? What high school did you go to?
I went to Kenmore West.
Oh, I went to St. Joe's, '93. So yeah, we're the same age.
All right, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. That's interesting. Huh. Do you?
My nephew's going to St. Joe's starting next year.
Oh, good. So tell me, do you have you had what's the strangest media request you've ever gotten, other than maybe our little podcast? Is there something that really kind of surprised you that, hey, I'm known somewhere, like, I don't know, out of the country, or, somewhere far flung that heard about you, or Bill's Mafia now obviously has gone kind of global. So any strange interview requests?
I'm trying to think, I don't know about strange. I had Barstool reach out back in 2016 because they were putting a documentary together, and I was a little trepidatious about it because, especially back then with the Bills Mafia, air quotes, videos with people jumping through tables and just the general debauchery and everything. And so, I had really mixed feelings about it, but I agreed to do it. And then the morning I was supposed to do the interview, I woke up sick as a dog, and I was like, guys, I'm normally not like this. I try not to, renege on my word, but I can't do it. And then I watched the documentary once it came out in May, and a prominent piece in that was with the guys that, threw the adult toy on the field. And so, I was just like, you know what? Maybe that worked out for the best, because I don't, last thing I want is my kids' friends at school saying, I saw your dad on the internet. He was right after the guys that, threw the thing on the field. So maybe that worked out for the best,
That's
so I don't know if that's the weirdest or whatever. That's what comes to mind.
That's funny. How has the Bills Mafia changed, in your opinion, since its founding? Is it changed? And also, is it changed because the team is better, or is it changed because of the attention that's on it now, like nationally? Like, what's different about the Bills Mafia from 2013 to 2023?
Okay, I never thought about the why, but let me walk through the timeline as I see it, and then maybe we can kind of pick it apart. But so 2011, it started out as a fringe group of Bills fans on social media who were made fun of by most of the other Bills fans on Twitter, believe it or not. So they used to call us Burrow's Murphia. And it's funny, everybody, they would just, a lot of people would poke fun at us for doing it. But now a lot of those people that did, have either, they're now quiet, or now they kind of if you can't beat them, join them. I don't know. But so it started out as a fringe group that within maybe 3-4 years became known as a bunch of crazies that would get drunk and set themselves on fire and jump through tables, which really, I mean, if you guys have been with the, with the Bills forever, or the fandom or the employment, that's a real small, speaking of fringe, that's a small number of people that do that, but social media exaggerates it. And I always say, to each their own. Whatever people want to do, they, however they get up for a game, just be safe. And that's not my thing, but it became known as these crazy people that would do these crazy things. And even you would see, media outlets like Barstool or whoever saying, "Oh, this crazy Bills Mafia fan doing this," and there's a guy jumping off a roof into a pool or something like that, and he's wearing a Packers hat. It's that's not even Bills Mafia. It's a brand for just fan craziness. But then you move forward to the 2017 season, and how that ends with Andy Dalton throwing the touchdown pass and the Bills going into the playoffs, unexpectedly, kind of I don't think any of us really, at least I'll speak for myself, I didn't really take it seriously all those weeks leading up to it, they could still pull it off. And all I could remember was Nathan Peterson's 11, 12, 13 interceptions in that one game. This is really going to happen. But they pull it off, and they made the playoffs. And then, as Bills fans donated, $500,000 to Andy Dalton's foundation. And that's sort of began a new chapter for Bills Mafia, I think, where, The term I always use is like how we raised it, myself and Brian and Leslie and co-founders and everything. Like we kind of raised it up, and then in like around 2015, it kind of hit its crazy college years. Grew up, left the house. Then in 2017, it kind of like it started to get its values right and started to like grow up and mature a little bit. And now it's known as this fan group that something crazy happens. Or something, I mean, not crazy, but like something bad happens, and Bills fans are there donating, leading the charge. No pun intended. With just these crazy donation amounts, and it was really so. It started with Andy Dalton, and then I can give you like 5, 6, 7 examples that happened. After that. The highlight being, Josh Allen in the 2020 season, millions of dollars have come out of that for the Patricia Allen wing at the Patricia Allen Fund at the Oshai Children's Hospital. And now it's come full circle when you saw what happened with Damar Hamlin this past January. And now all of a sudden, all that love that Bills Mafia was creating and putting into other cities often. I mentioned, Oshai, but one of the criticisms has been that Bills Mafia, donating to Lamar Jackson's favorite, foundation in Louisville, or, a children's cancer hospital in Chicago. Yeah. But for that all to come full circle and support, worldwide supporting Damar Hamlin's charity it's such a beautiful story. So I think, why that happened, whether it was attention, whether it was just, certain aspects of the fandom at the time getting old. And so let's move on to the new thing. Let's do something productive and not just like crazy, for attention. And, there's an argument to be made that a lot of the craziness that happened before games is because tickets were cheap and you could get them for $8 on StubHub. And now good luck finding anything 10 times that amount sometimes on StubHub.
Different clientele. Yeah, you're right. I remember with the jumping on the tables, I never saw it because when I would go to a game,
you were up in your corporate in the box.
I had to drive into a certain place there,
sure.
So I never saw the parking lots where it happened. So my daughter started going to the games when they were like teenagers in high school, and they would tell me, and then they would show me online. I'm like, my gosh, that's actually. Yeah. And then the other thing too, I remember I attended a Athletes in Action breakfast a few years ago here, where Andy Dalton was the guest speaker, and he just could not get over the generosity. He said he had there was a phone app, and they were tracking the donations coming in, and every time he refreshed, it would go from 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, and it just he and his wife just kept refreshing, and like they were laughing and crying at the same time. They just couldn't get over it.
Yeah,
it's crazy. We
go ahead.
Changes lives. Our fandom changes lives.
Absolutely. And it's funny that the reputation of the team, the franchise, absolutely has been enhanced by the work you've done, by the Bills Mafia. I feel like it's almost gotten to the point where it might be a recruiting pitch for players. The first thing that you find on Twitter when somebody signs or is traded to the Bills is, hashtag Bills Mafia, let's go. Like within 5 minutes of the news breaking, you see that, right? Like, I mean, every player, it's
so weird, dude. It's so weird.
Right? I mean, just think about
crazy.
That. Yeah.
Because sometimes I take a step back and like with the Bills having adopted the term officially in 2020 and, that kind of helping develop a little bit more of a relationship that I have now with them, and nothing really formal, but like but it's just the team adopting it and being in the stadium with my wife and my kids and hearing like Bills Mafia, get on your feet. Like that's crazy. Von Miller, like, a generational talent who now plays for the Bills. Like he puts out a video and says, I'm part of Bills Mafia now. Like,
yeah,
it's absolutely surreal. It's absolutely surreal. And it is kind of funny that Von Miller, I just thought of this right now, Von Miller signing and saying that, because the week that I first tweeted Bills Mafia was the week leading up to that draft when the 2011 draft. So there's something there. I mean, I should have thought of that before.
That's really funny. Yeah, I mean, the opening song, the song that they came out of the tunnel every game is that Bills Mafia.
Yeah, Mafia.
It was. I mean, it's everywhere. I was going to ask you, what does your game day look like? Like home game.
It's after COVID. We have 4 tickets that I bring my wife and my 2 daughters, and so it's really growing up, my kids would ask me. Sorry, I'm the king of long answers. I apologize.
No
But like,
worries.
yeah. So my daughter would ask me like, why do you watch this team if they lose all the time? Like, it's tough. Like, it's like a 7 or 8 year old. You like try to explain it, and it's like, listen, because when they're good, the whole city, the whole region comes alive, and someday I promise you'll see it. So they were always like fans of the idea of the Bills, being kids and everything. They never really just connected with what's going on the field, but like they always liked the idea of the Bills and kind of never understood why I was so into it, but they liked it, And believe me, they never had a shortage of Bills jerseys. Dad always made sure they had those growing up and everything. But and then in 2020, we all had to watch the games together because what else were you going to do? Where were you going to go? Nothing. And so that season, not being able to go to the games, not being able to even go to friends' houses really to watch the games, like the 4 of us were embedded in our home, and that was the year that it really like cemented in my daughter's lives like what it means to be a Bills fan. And the great example is my daughter, after Taron Johnson returns the pick 6 against the Ravens, crying. I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, I'm so happy. I was like,
what you meant.
Got you. You're one of us now.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, you knew you had them. I have twin boys that are 10, and they kind of had the same journey. The one is now all in, and he cried after 13 seconds, and I said, now you get it. Welcome to Buffalo. Like, welcome to the 90s, and welcome to no goal and wide right and home run throwback, and on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So it's funny that it feels like as you have kids and they reach that age. I'm sure for you, Don, when your daughters reach the age when they're aware of it, you want the team to win even more, because I can't stand having to console them, while also being pissed off, right? It's tough.
Yeah. You need consoling, and then you're consoling. Yeah. So after 2020, we got, we have 4 tickets now. The 4 of us go to games. It's, we go to like different tailgates and stuff like that. I had tickets growing up, or not growing up, but like for years when my kids were young. And then I just realized like it's an all day event. And so I would only see my kids for a couple hours on weeknights because of school and work and everything, and then see them on Saturday, depending as long as there was no birthday party or engagement that they had, and then I was gone all day Sunday. So I gave up my tickets when they were younger. But now to have them in the fold, doing it with me and my wife, it's amazing. And so that's kind of our game day rituals. We all go together, we hit up different tailgates. We end up at the Bills Mafia house often. That's probably our favorite place to be. But yeah, no, so I guess that's it in a nutshell.
Are you treated as like the mayor?
Yeah, sometimes people want to get, take pictures with you. I used to be really weird about it because, like, who am I? I'm just a dude who made a hashtag, and as a joke, and wasn't even trying to start anything. It just kind of like took off, But
you did it.
Eventually, I realized
no one else did. Yeah.
But I, let no man think more highly of himself than he ought. But so I used to be weird about it, and I stopped making it weird. If somebody says, "Hey, can I get a picture with you?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, let's go. Come on, let's do it." You know what I mean? Because like, all we're doing is celebrating how much we love the team, how much we love. It's not even about me. It's about how much we love the team. And so, sometimes people, they want to get their picture with you or whatever. But it's all good. Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah, the Bills made my daughter's wedding. My youngest daughter did a toast, but then I said a few words, and I brought in a Bills story where it was 2011, and my daughter was going to games with her friends in high school, and it was the year we started off 2-0, and then we were playing the Patriots, who were 3-0. We were 3-0, and she was going with all these different friends, and then with my tickets. And I said, "Who are you taking this week?" And she said, "One of her friends." And then this guy, she had there was a co-ed group. And I said, and she goes, "I'm picking him up. He has to work at Wegmans till 1:45." And I'm like, 1:45? That's like the second quarter. This is a huge game, the biggest game you've ever been to, really. And so my youngest daughter I was just, do what you want. I told you could do what you want. But my youngest daughter was like, Dad, duh, it's her boyfriend, which I didn't know. They ended up getting married.
Oh, that's a guy. Oh, okay, that's Ty. Well, there we go. She was willing to miss the first quarter of Bills New England.
Like, okay. I was slow on that one.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
So
you got to question his values if he's working during a Bills game. I don't know.
Yeah, right on. Well, you're young.
You want the best for your daughter, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know him. Yeah,
you're young and you don't have a lot of leverage, I guess, when you're like 17, right? To pick your work hours. Before we let you go, I just got an update from my buddy Pat. He has over 20 of your shirts. His two favorites are the Oregon Park Trail shirt and the the kind of the it looks like the Retro Bowl 100, 200, almost like a Josh Allen Super Mario where he's jumping over jumping over guys. Yeah, these are funny.
Yeah,
he said he's going to bring a bunch of them on the cruise that he's going on this week to Florida. Before we let you go, we play something. Yes, we play something called the 2-minute warning, where we ask you 10 questions and try to keep it under 2 minutes with some rapid fire answers that are fun questions. So Don, fire away.
Okay, your most interesting place to watch a Bills road game?
Bills road game would be I like the Sports City 365 right next to the airport, right by the airport. Actually, they have a really great vibe. I enjoy there. If I'm not at the game, if I'm not at that road game.
Sure. 3 people, dead or alive, you'd want to have dinner with.
Holy cow, these are really tough questions, guys. 3 people dead or alive I'd really want to have. I think I'd really like to have dinner with I just saw John Wick. I'd love to talk to Keanu Reeves. He seems like such a really cool guy, really down to earth guy. So Keanu Reeves, I guess, is one of them. I would love to. I'd love to shoot the breeze with Josh Allen over a meal. That'd be great. And the third one, it's got to be a good one. I don't know. Any living former president, I think would be kind of cool.
Cool.
Yeah, Howard Simon just said.
Or actually, he said living or dead. So any president ever. I don't know. Anything to make it.
You're entering an arena. You're a big deal. Dry ice. What is your entrance song?
Oh, jeez. Well, I don't know. The first thing that came to mind was Thunderstruck. I don't know why.
There you go.
It's not even like one of my favorite songs, but
that's a perfect entrance song. On that same vein, what's the best concert you've been to?
Metallica, and then Metallica.
Were you there this summer? Were you there this summer?
Absolutely, yeah. For sure.
I was there too. Yeah, they were really good. They played Enter Sandman, the second song, and he's like, "Oh, now that we played our good song," but it was funny, a little self-deprecation. But they were awesome after that. Favorite is my turn. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, favorite Buffalo restaurant and dish you get there.
Oh, geez, wings from almost anywhere. I know that sounds like a cop out. I love wings. There's a place in Kenmore called Mustachio, which has really, it's really sneaky. Some of the best wings in town, in my opinion.
Nice.
Who are your 3 favorite Bills players of all time?
Thurman Thomas, Jim Kelly, and Josh Allen.
All right. Favorite cartoon growing up?
I watch a lot of Tom and Jerry. We'll go with that.
Okay.
Did you hate Brian Cox as much as I did as a kid?
Yes. I had such mixed feelings when they signed his son. I'm like,
yes. Wasn't he assistant coach here?
Yeah, real quick. When I was traveling and Marv came back as the GM, I was either at New England or at the Jets, and we were getting in the elevator after the game, and all the other assistant coaches got on with us, and this man, Coach Levy, great to see you. I always admired you so much, and he had put on years and weight. Thanks. Good. We get off, and Marv goes, "Who was that?" I said, "That was Brian Cox." He's like, "Get out of here! That was Brian Cox. He was such a gentleman."
He didn't flip you off as you left the elevator, right?
Yeah. There's no birds. Where are the birds?
There's no right on.
Yeah. Can you drive a stick shift?
Yes.
Okay.
Not well.
What do you the most annoying fan base in the NFL?
Chiefs or Jets? Chiefs.
I'm with you.
Probably
on the
Jets.
Chiefs.
What are you bragging about? Like they're so cocky. The Jets fans are always so cocky. I'm friends with a bunch of Jets fans, but they're just like you. I know Buffalo hasn't won a Super Bowl, but you haven't won since the 3rd Super Bowl. Come on, that doesn't count. If you weren't alive for it, it doesn't count. Stop bragging.
Joe Namath.
Yeah.
Final question: your favorite sports movie of all time?
Favorite sports movie of all time. There are some really good ones.
Top 3 then.
I love Al Pacino's speech at the end of every given Sunday or any given Sunday. I love that speech that he gives. the inches are all around us. And I mean, obviously, Miracle and Remember the Titans. And we're gonna, what's gonna happen is we're gonna end this podcast. I'm gonna think of like 10 other ones that I'm gonna probably like more. But
they were strong though.
Miracle's great. One bonus question / comment. You see our logo on there. If you're ever in need of a T-shirt design, if the Walls Could Talk in Buffalo podcast T-shirt, I think would be a moderate seller.
I know a guy.
To go, Josh.
You know a guy, right? Thanks so much thanks for joining us.
Oh, this is great.
It was a lot of fun.
Good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, take care.
Go Bills.